Host Keith Parris. I want to thank everybody for joining us this morning. I look like Ricky Bobby after you.
Do my ass.
Don't do it by hands. Good morning, Clark. Good morning,
Good
Jermaine. Good morning.
morning,
I
good
just
sir.
spoke to Debo and to Michelle and everybody. Let me do this because I get into a whole lot of trouble. I don't know what it is, Clark. I showed them a picture. I must have been in third grade when I took that picture, and
Oh
people was looking
yeah,
at that picture going, "He did it."
yeah.
He did it.
Boy, you look
It looked like
guilty
it.
on
Did
that
I look guilty as a
picture. Yeah, you look guilty, Jack. You most definitely did it on that picture.
Okay, we do a couple things, and I'm going to get to that, but I want to set this up. Um, I have suggested reading for Black History Month. We do Black History Facts, but we've also included another feature now called Know Your History, which gives us kind of these people that you never even thought about, the things that we do for the culture. So let me read this, and and then we'll get into our discussion today. Why it's okay to laugh during Black History Month for the culture. This thought is for all the super righteous two percenters, brothers and sisters out there. You're just so righteous when it comes to blackness. Black History Month does not require a permanent furrowed brow. Reverence does not demand rigidity, and honoring our ancestors does not mean abandoning joy. In fact, humor has always been one of our most sacred survival tools. Black people laughed in the fields, not because of pain, the pain wasn't real, but because laughter was resistance. We cracked jokes under Jim Crow, not because we were ignorant of the danger, but because humor kept our humanity intact. From playing the dozens to Richard Pryor's pointed, sometimes profane humor, it kept our from and our mother's side eyes to social media memes. Comedy has been a way that we told the truth when the truth was too heavy to carry it straight. So when we interject humor into Black History Month, we're not being disrespectful. We're deeply traditional. Humor reminds us that Black history is not only a catalog of suffering, but a testimony of creativity, irony, brilliance, and swagger. It says we survived and we're still funny. It refuses to let our story be flattened into trauma alone. Laughter widens the lens. For the culture, humor is also a language of accessibility. It invites the next generation in. A meme can open the door to a movement. A joke can spark curiosity that leads to study. A laugh can disarm defensiveness and make space for truth telling that a lecture never could. There's also something holy about Black humor. It's theological in its own way. It declares that oppression does not get the last word. It affirms that joy is not a reward for liberation, it's part of the struggle towards it. As the old saying goes, we laugh when we don't cry, but even that understates it. We laugh so we can keep moving. Of course, humor must be rooted in love, not mockery. It should punch up, not down. It should illuminate, not erase. But when done right, humor is not a distraction for Black history, it's an interpretation of it. So, yes, we're going to laugh in February. We can smile while remembering. We can be serious about freedom and still crack a joke. That too is Black history. That too is for the culture. So when you hear us do, and we start like yesterday, we talked about Glorinda,
Mhm,
Slim Feather.
mhm.
Yeah. Is it? Hey.
Know your history.
History. And I'm doing some research, man, on your mama. I'm gonna do that tomorrow. Lord, y'all gonna be
Yeah,
surprised.
who was the
Oh,
first?
all right, as you know, we all do. We also do suggested reading, books that for every day of Black History Month, they're book and or books and or book. So today, you got it there, Clark. There you go.
There we go.
The Revolt of the Black Athlete by Dr. Harry Edwards, and my wife has me in my militant wear. I have on a picture.
That's dope.
Yeah. How about that? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Tommy Smith and John Carlos, and of course the sweatshirt I'm wearing. I think it's accurately black, but there it is. So it's my wife. When you see me in this militant wear, it's my wife that's dressing me to be a militant. So again, the revolt of the Black athlete. Michelle talked about this last week, the week before last. She talked about that meeting they had in Cleveland, Ohio, with Jim Brown and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar and who's my guy? Mitchell, Willie Davis, these black men who stood in support of Muhammad Ali, um, and him being in his exile from boxing. But at the same time, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar decided not to participate in the '68 Olympics because in this book, and I think the name of the group is something for human. Let me pull it up because actually I got a great article. Let me read the article I pulled up. But everybody knows, and so this famous picture of John Carlos and Tommy Smith raising their fist with the gloves, the black gloves. Those brothers suffered. I mean, they suffered. They suffered for a long time in terms of them making. So let's talk about here. It is as I bring it up. Here we go. Civil rights teaching. Okay, as I wait for this. Dum, da, dum, dum, da, dum. Okay. This article is from a author named Dave Zirin. Um, he has a podcast and column called Edge of Sports. It's been more than 50 years since Tommy Smith and John Carlos took the medal stand following 200-meter dash at the 1968 Olympics in Mexico City. It created what must be considered the most enduring, riveting image in the history of either sports or protest. But while the image has stood the test of time, the struggle that led to the moment, has been cast aside. When mentioned in all U.S. textbooks, the famous photo appears with almost no context. For example, Pearson Prentice's Hall's United States History, that's a textbook, places the photo opposite a short 3-paragraph section, Young Leaders Call for Black Power. The photo caption says simply that U.S. athletes Tommy Smith and John Carlos raised gloved fists in protest against discrimination. The media and school curricula failed to address the context that produced Smith and Carlos's famous gesture of resistance. It was the product of what was called the revolt of the black athlete. Amateur black athletes formed OPHR, the Olympic Project for Human Rights, to organize a black boycott of the 1968 Olympic Games. OPHR, its lead organizer, Dr. Harry Edwards, and its primary athletic spokespeople, Smith and the 400-meter sprinter Lee Evans, were deeply influenced by the Black freedom struggle. Their goal was nothing less than expose how the United States used black athletes to project a lie about race relations both at home and internationally. OPHR had 4 central demands: restore Muhammad Ali's heavyweight boxing title, remove Avery Brundage, the racist, bigoted white supremacist, as the head of the International Olympic Committee, hire more black coaches, disinvite South Africa and Rhodesia from the Olympics. Ali's belt had been taken by the boxing powers that be earlier in the year for his resistance to the Vietnam draft. By standing with Ali, OPHR was expressing its opposition to the war. By calling for hiring of more black coaches as well as the ouster of Brundage, they were dragging out the shadows, a part of Olympic history those in power wanted to bury. Brundage was an anti-Semite and a white supremacist, best remembered today for sealing the deal on Hitler's hosting the 1936 Olympics in Berlin. By demanding the exclusion of South Africa and Rhodesia, they aimed to convey their internationalism and solidarity with black freedom struggles against apartheid in Africa. All black people are one throughout the world. We are noted. So through colonization and enslavement, appropriations of lands, but this group, and so this has precipitated Harry Edwards writing The Revolt of the Black Athlete. And there's another book I would suggest people read, and I don't have it. I've given it to someone. I'm going to order another copy. The $40 Million Slave by William Roden. And it talks about what should be the role of black athletes when it comes to the freedom struggle in America and throughout the world. Everyone from and I guess that question becomes those people like LeBron James. We have Colin Kaepernick, right? Raul Maouf, formerly known as Chris Jackson. There have been people out there, certainly the WNBA, taking their stand in 2020 against the police brutality and police homicides So that's the question. This is a great book. I would suggest that you read it, especially those folks who like to think of themselves as conscious. This is, and here's the thing: struggle requires sacrifice, and the question for many of us: are we willing to sacrifice for the struggle? And I don't think that when Tommy Smith and John Carlos raised their fist, I think they had no idea of what the backlash would be. They probably assumed that there'd be some backlash, but they had no idea. And I mean, to the point where, they brought down the weight of the U.S. government on them. And a little backstory on the 1968 Olympics, which was held in Mexico City. Prior to, there had been protests in Mexico against the Vietnam War, and there was a brutal crackdown, and they wanted all these demonstrations gone by the time they got to the Olympics. It's just like in the 1936 Olympics, where they'd already started persecuting Jews in Germany, and Hitler wanted to sanitize what was actually happening in Germany. Avery Brundage, who was, again, an anti-Semite and a white supremacist, certainly endorsed what Hitler was doing. And so, the rest becomes history. It's famous. That particular Olympics is famous for, Jesse Owens setting an Olympic record, 4 gold medals. And then there's the story behind the 4x100 meters, where there are 2 Jewish individuals who were excluded from racing because it had been bad enough that Jesse Owens had come in and dispelled the myth of white supremacy. And then you would have these 2 Jewish guys, I think Tolan, and there's another guy who was taken out of the race, even though and Jesse said, "Man, don't run me. I'm tired." Right? Avery Brundage said, "Man, if you don't, you'll never really work again." And he really didn't. Not because of that, but just because you can win medals for the country. There were men who went and fought in the wars, and when they came back, they were still marginalized, still subjugated. So that says a lot about Black people. And I think it's something Doc Rivers said a few years back. He said that Black people love America, but America doesn't always love Black people back. Carla, welcome to the program. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. I wanted to remind you were talking about the Black athlete. I was thinking about all the entertainers and Sinatra and all them people in the Selma March, but I was thinking about when this thing with Nicki Minaj happened. I said, does anybody remember when James Brown and Sammy Davis Jr. caught all that heat for hugging Nixon?
Right.
And then they were almost boycotted also. I know they had a hard time getting work after that for a little while because people were so mad at him because, as you know, Nixon was like a pariah during his time. Even though he gave us affirmative action, he still was like a pariah. And he was crooked also. But it was just interesting when you talk about all of the components, athletes and the artists, white artists and all, who fought along or came along and protested with us in many ways for freedom.
Yeah, and even 1968, there was, I don't know if you looked up, actually, America's finished first and third in the that was the 200 meters, but there was a guy from Australia. Let me pull him up. Who he was also. How do you spell it? Okay.
Was he Aborigine?
No. Who supported Carlos and Smith?
Yeah, it was interesting because we came back
Peter
to
Norman.
school Peter Norman.
Peter Norman.
We came back to school that fall And of course, the first act we got together on was on Friday when they would play the national anthem at the end of the school day, especially in high school, West Division, they did that. So we decided we putting our fists up. Well, I must have been the only one that kept it up. That teacher, and then that was September. That June of the following year, I got failed. He failed me. He failed me after the whole year because you're right. There was consequences to pay when you decided to do that. I understood it. I didn't know I would fail. He would fail me for the whole year. But hey, it caught on, at all kind of events. Young people that starting that fall and that summer were you putting our fists up to protest multiple things because, of course, King had died and a number of things had happened. So I remember some of those protests when they walked out of schools. I remember the protests just to get soul food in the cafeteria. So
y'all had soul food at West Division?
We thought it was mostly black school, but we had protests to get them to put some soul food in the cafeteria.
As black as Parkman was, one thing I tell you, we never had a soul food lunch, and we were blacker than black. Mock chicken leg, right? Wait a minute, y'all. I hate to put it out there like this. All right, so we can serve. We can do fried chicken and greens or mock chicken leg. Who do you think is gonna win?
Mock chicken leg with some brown gravy.
For the culture right now. All right, brother, here what we gonna do. Now, y'all want some greens, y'all want some mac and cheese, and you want some fried chicken, a little cornbread, or do you want mock chicken legs? What do you think? Who would have won?
My chicken. It's a tie.
I know we was rebellious, but we wasn't that rebellious.
Right. I tell you what I'm gonna do though. I ain't gonna drink that white milk. But you
because chocolate milk hadn't made it to school level yet.
Hey, wait a minute, Tyrone. Y'all would have had all the other brothers and sisters manage y'all at the school. Like, what did they come in to do? Yo, mock chicken leg day. They decided to do greens, chicken, and macaroni and cheese.
Oh, yeah.
Protesting with y'all. Y'all to mess it up for everybody.
Yeah.
I guess there can't be exceptions to the revolution. I don't know.
Yeah. And even what's the old saying? When the revolution comes, some of us got to go too. You have to wonder if you in that line.
Right. Well, now, if the revolution is going to be televised because you didn't pay your cable bill. What happened, bro? You know there's a revolution. Oh, dog, man, my cable got cut off, man. I'd have missed all of that.
I know.
Oh, man, I tell you, boy. I tell you all the time, right out, life ain't black and white.
No.
You know what? And you probably would have had more students would have walked out if they would have said we no longer doing mock chicken legs. You probably would have.
Oh, man. They made so much money on that day. People wanted seconds and thirds.
Oh, man, we call that double lunch. That was double lunch day. Appreciate you. Okay. It is Black History Month.
Okay. Yeah.
Oh, Ashe, brothers. Ashe.
Okay.
Ashe. All right, appreciate you.
And right on.
Right on. Oh, that's solid. That's really solid. Oh, man, in Black Dynamite, every time he showed them that bullet, they go, this some heavy. I guess I got to put that on the list. I got to put that on the list, man. Those terms and words that we used from back in the day. But right on. As a matter of fact, at Parkman Junior High School, the blackest school in America, we had a song called "We're the Parkman Panthers." Right on. We're better than the best. Yeah. Right on.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. With the Keith Avenue, we used to hear them saying that.
Yeah.
Outside. I remember that.
You remember that?
With the Keith Avenue, you hear them Parkman on there singing that song.
Oh, man. So, yes, it was a bit of a cultural shock when I got to Dominican High School. And we tell the story. Somebody just asked me about it. Was it last week? They said, so what was the deal when y'all had to deal with our school song? And in our school song, it had "We're the Great White Knights." Oh, that set off a revolution. Ooh, Mr. Harpo had to come to Dominican. That's what they would do at Dominican when black students would be having some difficulties. They would bring in folks from the black community. That's where I met Dr. Tony Mensah, Reuben Harpo, and my mom. They go back years, and they would come out and try to settle us down because it was because coming off of, and I realized that I stood on the shoulders of a lot of people. When I got to Dominican, I got there 72, 73. Man, 15 black students. Yeah, if we had that many, and boy, you really feel like, whoa. Let's say you stood out. But like I told y'all, all I wanted to do from sixth grade on was go to white schools until I got to one. And the first question I asked, where the black people? Where the black people? Like I thought I was sick of going to school with black people. Wrong. But yeah, so that's where. So again, the suggested book of the day is Revolt of the Black Athlete by Dr. Harry Edwards. Great reading. I mean, obviously he's a scholar, but this is just great and really talks about how we got to John Carlos and Tommy Smith. Caller, welcome to the program. Good morning.
Yeah, I was just calling back to tell you, when you were talking about Parkman wasn't built when I was at Keith Avenue. It came later. So we went straight from Keith to King back in them days. And King was changing.
Right.
I remember they had a couple of events up at King, and I remember going to the office one day, and all the white parents was down there. All the white kids was leaving. It was like a mass demonstration. Mr. Balistrieri, all these people was down there checking kids out because they was leaving King. And then, like you said, Parkman came later. And then when I got to West, now that was a revelation for me because I didn't know there were any schools in the district that had white students other than what had happened at King. So, but we had Mr. Gilmore and Mr. Harry Oden. And boy, they didn't take no stuff. You didn't act crazy at all around them two men, And then did you have Mr. Williams over at Robert Fulton? Did you know who Mr. Williams was?
Yeah.
Yeah, we tried to sneak. We used to sneak out for lunch every now and then they come rolling up and down the street looking for you.
Well,
boy, you talking about people running around 3rd Street, 2nd Street, 1st Street, trying to get back to the building.
I can tell you that the most, and I would use the word notorious, but a teacher at Fulton that put the fear in students who didn't even go to that school was Mr. Bonds.
Mr. Bonds and Mr. Asim. That the Japanese gym teacher, shoot, he whipped some stuff out of, he made you take your pants down in the class, hit you with that ruler that had all them holes in it, and shoot, suck your butt right up out of your body, and shoot. Between him and Mr. Bonds just hit you. He would say, boy, what's wrong with you? And you say nothing, and you stand up there, and then he put that thick fist right in your chest.
And he was a big dude, as I remember. He was a big dude. Yeah. He wasn't a little dude.
And you couldn't tell your mama either, because she'd hit you again. So
You know, and
you had to take that hit.
when I got to junior high school, man, the toughest teachers were the gym teachers. Like we had Mr. Lee. Mr. Lee. That dude, his gym class, I'm telling you, no problems in his gym class at all. None. No problems. No. And we had other and that was the other good thing about my experience at Parkman was I was exposed to so many black male teachers. Something I never had a black male teacher all through elementary school, right? I had black female teachers, but I never had them. So to see all of these black men, I think, and especially for a guy growing up where, you know, your dad is not in the home and you kind of looking for role models. And a lot of those dudes really were role models and positive, and they poured into us. I know I got to go. We had one particular teacher. He ended up over at Juneau. People probably remember Larry Gross. Now we all tell the story about Mr. Gross. Mr. Gross had this thing. I had learned this term, copious notes, right? So whenever you came to Mr. Gross's class, you took notes, right? He's preparing us to go to college, and I'm telling you, the pimps brought pencil and paper.
Oh, the slangers. Right.
Right. They brought pencil and paper to Mr. Gross's class. I'm going like, oh, Pimpers Larry, you got your
Yeah, but they also you talk about the black male teachers. They also have some black female teachers. But them slangers didn't do nothing around either. Miss Graham and a whole bunch of people.
Miss Graham, what is she?
All
like
the
4'4"?
Oh, she would knock the crap out of you.
Hey, she put me under a desk one time. I'm embarrassed to tell that story. I don't know how she folded me up with her little self. And you know, I grew up with her people at Metropolitan. Her sister was at Metropolitan, and her niece and we were baptized together. So, man, Miss Graham I don't know why I thought I could talk slick. Maybe I thought because she was little. Wrong.
Oh, she didn't matter. Wrong.
Wrong.
You know, because she would wear your butt out. And
I learned a lot about not stepping over the line at Parkman. Did a whole lot in helping me not to become a habitual line stepper. Because trust me, we got some folks out there even today. They still lines, you know, stepping over the line. Like, dude, you gonna learn.
You gonna learn. Yeah, my Miss Graham, she didn't get me, but Mr. Golden got me over at Fulton. Mr. Lafayette took me out in the hall and grabbed me by my neck and stood me up in the air. My little feet was dangling. And he said, I wrote a note to this girl that I probably shouldn't have, and they got intercepted crossing the room. And he wanted to know where I got that language from. I told him I got it from my mother's tavern.
I would sue Bradley Carr, but he did. I should sue him. Hey man, I gotta go because we run up on the break. Appreciate you, T.
Okay.
Yeah, you done brought back another memory. All right. Go dig this dude up and sue him. All right, you listen to Community Voice. Guess what? They're back. They're back. Yeah, that's correct. We have Miss Julie Means, Miss Brenda Buchanan. Be healthy, be you. They'll be here after the break. We're gonna take a quick break. We'll be right back. All right, welcome back, and we're inside Be Healthy, Be You. Hello, ladies.
Hey.
We're
Hap-
back.
Yes, happy to be back.
I saw Nicole. I said, "How you doing?" I asked her family. Where's Julie and Brenda? she said, "Oh, they'll be back next month." I said, "Okay, because people, yeah."
I don't know. She should be at corporate headquarters about right now. So,
Yeah.
Shakina. Well, see, now you really messed up. Now everybody knows Tasha and Shakina are one. Oh, live in the same body. Put it that way.
Welcome back, y'all. I mean, it's wow. I had to make up stuff on Tuesdays. I'm pretty good at it. But
Yeah, you were.
Yeah,
I
it
was
didn't.
listening.
We were. Yeah, I was listening too.
So
No, it's very good to be
Mr.
back.
White House stepped up and stepped in, and yeah. So y'all had quite a
Yeah.
few.
Debo show.
Yeah, I know. It's life after, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So it was good. You guys be with us every first Tuesday.
Correct.
Yeah. So, wow, a lot has happened since we last talked last year.
A lot has happened.
Mhm.
A lot of medical things have happened too. This measles outbreak is
Oh, yeah.
important for vaccinations. And they said if you had your MMR, you don't have to worry about isolation. If you've been around
Mhm.
somebody that has measles, you're good. You're good.
Yeah, but it it also pushes to what pushes also this idea that you let people act on their feelings and beliefs, not based in fact or science, and
Mhm.
now you're dealing with the residual effects of that. We had basically eliminated measles.
Yes,
Right.
Yes.
Yes.
We had.
And so if people feel like, well, okay, it's my belief, your belief can get you in trouble. I'm sorry, I hate to be that guy, but now we're looking at a measles outbreak. I'm concerned about them. I think most doctors, most pediatricians are probably still going to suggest
Mhm.
that people, but for people who are probably outside or in a certain demographic, it was already difficult to get people in to get the regimens. Now, when they're kind of saying, well, you don't have to, they won't,
Mhm.
because they don't clearly understand the impact that that illness can have or illnesses can have on their children.
You're so correct.
Right. And measles is not like chickenpox. Chickenpox can be very serious too. But, people die from measles
Mhm.
and they have long-term, complications, hearing loss, fertility issues, there's all sorts of things. So it's not just like we used to think, oh, just a little childhood disease, you get it and you're fine. It has serious consequences.
I'm trying to remember if I had measles as a kid.
You probably did.
Probably did.
Mhm.
Yeah. And I don't know if it's again, these clusters, these outbreaks are in like rural communities who have their own health challenges.
Mhm.
We talk a lot about, obviously, because we're in this space, we talk about the challenges that urban environments face, but really, in many instances, at least in urban environments, you have more access
Mhm.
to healthcare resources, where depending on where you live, if you're in a rural area, you may or may not.
You may or may not, or you have to go so far to get it that it's like you don't have it. Mhm.
Yeah. So it's Black History Month.
It is.
Let me do this, and I'm not, you don't have to. I really thought about you too when the nurse lost his life,
Mm.
and all of a sudden,
Yeah, it broke my heart.
but one of the there's always some good that can come out of a situation. One, it alerted us to the work that nurses do, and particularly the type of work he was doing
Mhm.
at the VA,
Mhm.
Mhm.
and how important nurses really are. I've been going back and forth about, do I want to go into like the chaplaincy, but how difficult it is to go to a hospital. Just out with my mom. My mom went in ICU,
Mhm.
but just coming in the hospital. But you get a real appreciation of watching these healthcare professionals up close
Mhm.
and what they have to do, or you look at what CNAs have to do,
Mhm.
and I mean, and they go in and they clean people and stuff that I wouldn't want to run in and do.
Mhm.
And so, yeah, I thought about that just it in terms of just the importance of nursing and nurses. I know we do Nurses Appreciation Month, but I don't know if we can truly express how much we appreciate.
Well, I'm glad you gave a shout out to nursing assistants and and people that take care of seniors in their homes. We need everybody, and CNAs are they can make a pretty good living, and care for their family. A single mom that's a CNA, she might work. She will work hard, different hours, but she can raise her family. And you know, Bill Clinton mom was a nurse,
Hmm.
and they tend to know how to steer their children into higher educations. But but yes, everybody that cares for even family members that care for loved ones, that's hard work.
Very much so.
And just you hear this whole idea, the concept of the village,
Hmm.
and I see now, and I'm sure for my mother, it's come full circle.
Hmm.
Because when we were little, the care, and now the care that we have to provide,
Hmm.
and primarily my sister. So shout out my sister.
Yeah,
Um, that
awesome, awesome woman of God.
Okay, let's not go too far with this. We are talking about my sister here, so let's not. Boy, just got to take it. No, when Francine had to speak out at New Testament Church,
Mm.
they do that Tuesday, Wednesday when the men would come together, and so the late Oscar Johnson said, "Keith, I want you to introduce your sister." I said, "Oh, okay."
Oh,
So I got up and I introduced my sister, and I preface it with, "Look, do not come up afterwards and tell me how well she did." Because after all, this is my sister. And if you don't think sibling rivalries are real,
I was just gonna say,
yeah, they're
sibling
very
rivalry.
real. But no, I mean, to be able to do it in such a way, and we've been really fortunate on a lot of levels because, relatively speaking, my mom is in good health. Certainly, when you take in factors like age. I know one time I went in for my wellness, and my physician, he was putting in the notes and he was saying it out loud. In very good shape for a man his age. I'm thinking like, here we go with old again. Just can't get away from being old, can I? I mean,
okay.
is it?
Mhm.
The other alternative is that you're not here, right?
Yeah.
So,
Be dead. That we say.
yeah, heart won't be beating
We were having
anymore.
this conversation in the program yesterday. I said, I'm going to stop when I'm doing eulogies, reminding everybody the church ain't going to die. It's like, here he go again.
Mhm.
But yeah, I mean, and being, and I know this is Heart Month, so really we would talk about that. We'll dive into that. But I just think in general, our health. So let me ask this question. And this is a kind of softball lob. How important is our mental health when it comes around to as it relates or intersects with our physical health?
Well, it's a program that I do. It's called uh, Healthy Brain Equals a Healthy Heart. If your heart is not functioning properly, your brain is gonna get have problems. Not only your brain, but that catches people when they realize that they can um, lose their form of intelligence, or
Mhm.
um, but your kidneys, your heart is the key, and if it's not functioning properly, it can cause damage to major organs, but mostly your kidneys get it first,
Mhm.
and then your peripheral vascular, like your legs and your feet. And you see people with those huge ankles, and you can see
Mhm.
it. You can, when you see that, you go, something ain't right with that heart.
Mhm. And sometimes when people start to show like signs of dementia, and people automatically go to the fact that it's a real memory issue, or it's Alzheimer's or something like that. That's why you have to have a complete physical workup, because it may not have anything to do with your brain. It may be because you've got some clogged arteries, or like Julia said, your brain's not being fed enough because your cardiovascular system isn't working right, and those things usually can be fixed.
Yeah, can.
And so once that's fixed, then you start to see the improvement in the memory, and the higher functioning and all of that. So it's important. We sometimes just ignore, because yeah, she's getting old, she's got memory issues. It may be something cardiovascular related that could be taken care of.
And how things like infections can impact our mental.
Absolutely.
And why they're delusional? Well, if you've ever had like a high fever and all of the hallucinations and everything that you're having, so a lot of times being able to kind of identify it, recognize what it is, certainly seeing your doctor. And I'll be honest, when I had to go in for what we they do a health screening, through the city of Milwaukee. Rhonda gets a discount for her health insurance if you hit certain points. And so when I went in for the screening, all those things were really good, glucose, all those things. But then I knew I had to go see my doctor. And what I'm really worried about is PSAs.
Your PSA.
Yeah. And I was like, okay, glucose is good, because I'm not a big sweet eater. I do. And I was just telling someone how difficult it is to count calories. But I was really worried. I was like, man, here we go.
Did you pass?
1.4.
You passed.
Yeah, that's pretty low, right?
And
it can just come out of nowhere.
Yeah,
it can, and it's important though you get it checked, because the
Checked.
earlier it's much better outcomes.
And it doesn't necessarily mean cancer with a
Right.
man. With some prostate issues are just enlargement and inflammation and stuff like that. And you just need to make sure the doctor will let you know. They have ways of treating it. But when we talk about heart and brain, there are a lot of electrolytes that if your sodium is up and calcium is off, and all that kind of stuff can cause you to be totally confused. Bladder infections. Our seniors
Oh
are
my gosh.
historically known for having a bladder infection. And as soon as they start talking loopy, you need to
go say possible UTI.
And I noticed that with my mom, it's like, oh, she's just not here. And it's like, but what it is her body is trying to fight that infection. And so when bodies fight, you guys explain this to me. So what does it mean when your body's fighting infection?
Well, your immune system is, like Julia said, releasing all those little soldiers.
Your white blood cells are
They're running
marching
to the
out.
spot. To
We're
zoom, 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 zoom.
We're marching.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah. So they're going there to take care of
Yes.
things. And then, you get some inflammation. You get a temperature. All of that is your body's immune system trying to deal with this infection in a good way. It doesn't feel good, but if it goes unchecked, it could be really bad. But it's there to
What's that song? War.
Ooh,
good for
absolutely.
Nothing.
Say it again now.
war.
So your body is at war.
Yeah. And it's trying to fight that infection,
Yes.
right? That invader that's come in the body. However, sometimes some of the other systems maybe take the hit too, because it's trying to get rid of that thing that's not supposed to be in the body.
Let me deal with my rudimentary understanding of medicine. So what happens, like, when kids were getting scarlet fever, that impacted heart, right?
It can be the inflammation can go in and damage the heart.
Are there other like viruses out there that can have particular impact on the heart?
Well, dental. That's
Mhm.
why they want you to take antibiotics if you are going to have certain dental surgery, especially if you have heart disease already. The
Mhm.
people have the valve replacement.
Yes.
They definitely want them to
Mhm.
have antibiotics series before they go for dental work.
Mhm. And if you have really bad dental hygiene, a lot of cavities, a lot of inflammation in your gums,
Bleeding.
yeah, any of that, they're not going to do an elective surgery until they can clear that up. An emergent surgery is different. They don't have a choice. But for an elective surgery, if you need a knee replacement and your teeth are, it's not going to happen.
So, and I think we certainly, J.D. Vance's book, Hillbilly Allergy,
Mm-hmm.
he introduced a term that I had never heard before. We talked about it before, Mountain Dew
Mountain
teeth,
Dew teeth.
and how it's having impact on the heart.
Mhm.
And that a lot of people don't realize how much your dental health impacts like your heart, infections in the body, and things like
It
that.
is so
And
serious.
if your mouth is, for lack of a better term, jacked up, right? If you've got a lot of infection, inflammation, you're going to have, in fact, you're going to have inflammation throughout your body. So it's not just localized there, it's causing issues throughout your entire body. And so that's why oral care is so important. Seeing your dentist as a part of your medical care at least twice a year for cleanings. Some people, especially some people with diabetes, may need to go every 3-4 months instead of every
and
6
it will
months.
be paid for.
Mhm.
And you know, when you go to your eye doctor, and now dentists are starting to take your blood pressure
Yeah,
before
mine
they
does.
do care.
Mhm.
And if you go to the eye doctor and they go, you need to see your doctor.
Then you
They
kind of
can
get
see-
scared, right? Uh-oh.
They can see them vessels behind your eyes.
They should obviously take Julia Means' seminar on how to break bad news to patients. Julia has such a great bedside manner.
Your blood pressure is high.
No, you didn't do it like that. That woman, you were just going,
Well,
oh, it's just a
that's
little
because she was out
high.
in public with everybody. Julia can tell a
But
person their blood pressure.
I have called. We'll get you right across the street. We're inside Be Healthy, Be You. They're back. Miss
Yes.
Julia Means, Miss Brenda Buchanan, Ascension of Wisconsin. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back. Like not one, not nearing one,
Not now.
not nearing one. This is Black History Month. So I think as we talk about, it's also Heart Health Month. We think about people who've had impact certainly on the heart. Wasn't it Daniel Hill?
Which that did what?
First open heart
Oh, let me
surgery.
see.
Yeah. Someone was just
Yes. In 1893, he
Wow.
performed one of the first successful open heart surgeries.
someone was just telling me about a friend of ours. She went in for surgery, and they took her heart out.
Mm.
Wow.
Yeah, that's that's kind of yeah. But all heart surgery is not open heart surgery.
Right.
Open heart surgery is when they actually open up the heart. Usually, when they do that, they're dealing with the valves.
So I envision it's like they open your chest, but no, it's
Oh, they do have to open your chest.
Yeah.
Yes. So that means
And
cracking that and spreading it out. Yeah. It's not fun.
Mhm. That's why.
Uh-huh.
But they've come a long
They have.
way.
They have.
They can actually.
every karate movie where you saw
Yeah.
they go in.
And they're yes, the surgeries are quicker.
Or you go home, what, 2-3 days?
Oh, well, you're going to stand up that day.
Mhm.
You're going to
Okay.
be stood up at the bedside, no matter how big of a job
Mhm.
was. You're going to be up and up.
They have to put you through a heart lung machine that bypasses the heart, and so your blood is going through this machine, and that's what caused a lot of the problems because it really beat up on the cells, and so they're able to do things much more efficient and faster now, and so you're able to stand up faster and recuperate faster, and a lot of times they don't even have to open you up. They can do a lot with the angioplasty, and they can even change the valves now
No, right.
without opening you up. They just put it in there. And
So it sounds like a car. Yeah,
Yeah,
we're gonna
yeah.
pop out a
Got to
couple
pull
of
that whole
valves.
engine out. What? Can't you just go through here? That's what they do with my heart. They didn't have to take
We
it
always
all the
talk
way
about
out.
when you put it back. Shouldn't that be going in?
Right.
If I didn't need it, why did it come with it?
Right. Yeah, it doesn't make sense.
One of the things I'm always fearful of is clogged arteries. Talk about what are the causes of clogged arteries.
Well, a big cause is the food that we put into our mouth.
Wah, 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 wah.
Yes. Sorry to say. The high fatty foods and those things with different types of unhealthy fats, animal fats, trans fat, things like that. So, you can still eat everything really. It's just those things that are really fatty. And that includes not just animals. We're talking a lot of our pastries, things like that contain a lot of fat in them. Can clog your arteries. So,
But
mhm.
we have cholesterol lowering medication.
Yes, we do.
And someone called me like, I don't want to be started on this med. I don't want to be started.
I just had that same conversation with somebody.
I'm like eat the cake, anime. I'm like,
Right.
take the medicine.
Right. It's like, why is that so hard?
Okay.
And I will say to people, if you've been on a statin, which is the first line most commonly used, if you have issues with it, because some people do, you talk to your doctor. You don't stop taking it,
Right.
because there are other statins that may not give you those same side effects. And if it's all statins, then there's another line of drugs that will help. But your cholesterol
Either way,
is
you gonna
going to
eat the
kill
cake.
you. That's right. You better eat it. Otherwise, you're going to have these heart attacks,
Yes.
strokes.
Yes.
When I talked about, arteries being clogged and it affects the brain can't function. Even if you haven't had a stroke yet, the fact that those arteries are clogged means there's less oxygen getting to the brain.
when statins came out, that was a game changer.
Mhm.
That was a game changer.
And
why not
nowadays,
take the medicine?
so many people are on statins.
Mhm.
And I had a friend talk to me last year. We were going through her meds, and she says, I don't know why I'm on this. My cholesterol's fine. It always has been. But she's got diabetes and some other health issues. So I had to explain to her, sometimes your numbers may be normal, but based on family history and other diseases you have, we want to keep that a lot lower than what we look at as okay for an otherwise healthy person.
I
So take the
first
statin.
time ever, I did oxtails.
Mhm. You felt it?
No, I didn't feel it, but
That's what you kept thinking was like,
oh my
"Ooh,
god,
my arteries are all
but
clogged up."
But it tastes so good.
It does.
Oh,
Mhm.
it's so rich and
Fatty.
fatty.
Once a year, maybe.
Yeah.
Not bad.
Yeah, that's the thing.
My
You know,
mother used
even
to-
beef, I know with the new dietary guidelines, there's some pros and cons with it. It does focus on whole foods, which is important, but you still need to limit those fatty meats like beef, pork, veal twice a week, maybe tops. But not every day. You know, some people, are beef eaters. I think my dad ate beef, 8 days a week, even though there was only
He's a
7.
farmer.
Yes, he
Yeah.
was a farmer.
8 days a week.
He ate it 8 days a week.
You had a caller that just called and wanted to know, is there any way that you can tell if your arteries are clogged?
Yes, there's a blood test that is done,
Okay.
and that will identify what's going on. If there are other issues that are more serious, there's different labs. I mean, different, they can do Doppler ultrasounds, they can do other testing to see, but either way, you have to visit a doctor.
So there's no like swelling or anything that would take place in the body to alert you if you are having
No, because
Okay.
that swelling could be
from anything.
anything. I mean, sometimes your elevated blood pressure could be a sign that your arteries are clogged,
Oh,
because if they're clogged with cholesterol, then there's not enough room in there. So your heart has to work a lot harder
Yeah.
to push that blood through those vessels.
And speaking of Black history, we must we always tell people there are certain things you can change through lifestyle change, and there are certain things you can't. And one of the things you can't change is your nationality or your race. And
Your genetics.
and we were taken out of our country, put on the ship, and brought to America. And the slaves that survived were the slaves that were salt retainers, because the other ones died of
Dysentery.
dysentery, dehydration, whatever. So when we got to America, we made it with other slaves, and it's not. Some of us do, but it's not that we eat too much salt. It's just that we're more salt resistant. We should eat less salt
Because our bodies are much more sensitive to it.
That's it.
Yeah.
Our bodies
And-
are, and it ain't our fault.
Right.
It
And
always gets back to
Right.
slavery.
And
we say it all the time. It always gets back to slavery.
and it may not be our fault, but we still have to do something about it, right?
But if you don't know it,
Exactly.
if you don't know it and you go to the doctor and the doctor go, "Oh, you African Americans, y'all blood pressure's so high,"
Excuse me?
It's an insult.
That's what I'm saying.
When he said you people, excuse
Yeah.
me?
and then that makes you feel some kind of
Oh,
way.
sure.
And
Well, it
then,
makes you feel like you want to hurt somebody too.
well, and
So-
you feel like,
Mhm.
well, I got it anyway. But no, we've taken how many blood pressures in the community, and a lot of time men, they really get more defeated quicker than the women do when their blood pressures are high, because men fixate more on numbers than women do. Yeah, y'all want to know the number. What's my number? What's normal? What's
Ain't gonna do nothing
Mhm.
but tell me the
Right.
number.
want to
Right.
know the number?
You know why?
Why?
So we at the barber shop.
So you can talk, man. Let me tell you what my
I can be
numbers is.
statistically correct when I'm having this conversation. That's one of the processes of you walk up, Brenda, how you doing? And Brenda pulls out her medical chart. This is the process when you get older. Keith, how you doing? Well, and then we tell you. I'm like, dude, I don't really
want it. I didn't
know
really
your
want
medical
all of that.
history. This was more of an esoteric
Yeah.
question, like
just how you doing,
how you
like
doing?
being
How's
kind,
life?
right?
I
Good
mean,
to see you.
Oh man, I tell the story, man. I went to. That's why I don't go to Super Bowl parties. And these brothers talked 30 minutes about gout. I know my boy listening. They 30. I was going like, "There's a game,"
but my
they're arguing about it. I'm like, "Come on, man!"
Which is different to everybody. Every personal
and
gout is different,
and it's painful. It's bad. It's painful.
What about we hear this term congested heart failure.
Mm-hmm.
What is the definition of congested heart failure?
It is truly congestive heart failure when your heart is not pumping effectively, and your heart on the left side, it pushes all the blood out, and it does it so forcefully. But if things aren't working properly, because the blood got to come back and go into the lungs, your heart and into the lungs and come back out, you can get where you get extra fluid. The heart is not functioning
and it's
properly, and so you get a backup of fluid.
Mm-hmm.
And they can tell. They used to, now they have a blood test that they can do right away that can tell if you're in congestive heart failure. Back in the day, they didn't have it. They went with the symptoms and the chest X-rays and things like that. But now they can draw a lab and they'll say, she's in congestive heart failure.
I mean, you might, depending on what part of the heart is really affected. I mean, you could have a lot of swelling in your extremities, especially your lower extremities, like Julie, so that body's not able to bring that all the way back up. You might have rattling in your chest because you're getting fluid in your lungs. But you think about like your muscles when they're big, they seem to be working really well, and you want them strong because then you can lift more. But when your heart gets big and flabby, that muscle is weak. And as a result, it doesn't have the ability to pump that blood effectively throughout the body. And so it can be life-threatening. Nowadays, there are treatments, but that doesn't take away the heart damage, but it can provide some relief. But you got to take your meds because a lot of people, once they feel better, they stop taking their meds.
Or they go to church and they don't want to have to go to the bathroom.
Yeah, so they don't want to
take their water pills.
Can I have a question?
Yes.
What causes irregular heartbeat?
Now, we always talk about the heart as far as you have the plumber part where the blood vessels can get clogged, like your sinks. Then you have the electrical part, and the irregular heart rate deals more with the electrical part of the heart.
So you have like a little node in there that fires off and controls the heart rate. And if that is defective or it's not working properly, then you might have irregular heart rate,
fast, slow, or deadly.
Mm-hmm. Or it can be boom, 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 stop, boom, stop, boom, boom, boom,
and
stop.
that could be normal,
right?
But if it's like atrial fib, that is one that can cause you to. First of all, they want to put you on a blood thinner. Because you can throw a clot.
Mm-hmm. And then that could be deadly.
Is that good if they put you on the blood?
Oh, gosh, yes. Yeah, that helps to prevent the clots from forming and being sent out to the body that can cause strokes, heart attacks.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, I have a message. It says, tell our sister healthcare professionals the substitute programming was done well and professionally, but could not replace our two resident experts. Happy New Year.
Thank
you. We are so happy to be back.
And I must say, though, you talked about the in-hospital nurses that work in the hospital. I was in the hospital caring for someone that had surgery there. And It's amazing. The machines that they
Oh, the
have
technology
now
they
and
have nowadays.
the
Yeah.
things that they do now, and I be going, I'm like, what is this?
Yes.
I feel ancient when I go in the hospital. And the person I was with, like, she's a nurse. I said, don't tell them that. Don't
Because
tell
I don't know even what that machine's doing
But you
over
know,
there.
the psychology of all of that, you're sitting there looking at the monitors.
Mhm.
And then, there's a couple of things that I just have to, because, either you or someone's in the hospital.
Mhm.
And it was like when we had taken mom to the ER last year, and the hospitalist was talking to her. He said, "How you doing?" She said, "Not good if I'm here."
Right.
Black folks, we
Right. Always got something to come back with.
But no, but I think in terms of as a loved one, you're looking there, and then you have to learn how to put things in perspective. One, we're not in ICU.
Mm-hmm.
Two, they're not overly alarmed.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but every little thing, that blood pressure,
beep, beep, beep.
yeah, you going like, oh, but they're not tripping.
Yeah.
So
And that's part of one of the things, probably the most important thing that a nurse has to have is critical thinking skills. You can learn how to do all the different skills, those are tasks, but to be able to, and this equipment, how all the new equipment, it helps. You got to take in that big picture, and you're constantly assessing what's going on and using your critical thinking skills. You got to know when to call the doctor, what to get from this machine, how that relates, what's that clinical picture look like of that patient. Those are the things that you don't always see, and that's why maybe when you see, you're alarmed, but they're not too alarmed because they've got the big picture,
I mean,
and they're
and that's
constantly
just
assessing
me,
that.
my worry.
Right. Well, yeah, as a person with somebody, that's what you do. When my son was in the hospital, I slept next to his bed 24/7 for the most part. He slept too because he was so out of it. He
Right.
didn't know what
It's
was
like
going on.
we sit out there and look at my mama. She's just sleeping. I mean, it's like you can go home.
And if you could get that feel that they got this under control, because family do need to go home and rest, because when they come home is when the work is gonna you're gonna need to have been rested, so that you could provide the care.
And wow. Now things can happen. We got a call. Caller, welcome to the program. I'm getting ready to babble. Caller, welcome to the program.
Well, thank you. Make it worth the wait then. Good morning, Mr. Ryder. Good morning, ladies.
Tyrone,
Good morning.
Did
Good
I
morning,
hear you on Al Sharpton yesterday?
Yeah, indeed, you did.
Okay.
I heard him too.
Well, I'm glad you did. Well, anyway, long story short, to not want to suck the air out the last minutes of the show here, you were talking to the open heart surgeon. I just wanted to, telepathy is amazing because you were just speaking machinery, and that leads right into my whole the filtering of the filtering of the blood should be the key to all of that, because if that filtering isn't any good, then I mean you're pumping contaminated blood back into a restored heart. And you may remember during COVID or Corona there, the ventilators. I heard stories that, oh man, the ventilator's not really doing any good because the air, I don't know if dust, but the air wasn't quality air. I mean, so it's almost like if he wasn't breathing dust there, it's almost like he was, the air quality just wasn't good enough for him to be breathing, even coming through the ventilator. I'll tell you very quickly, and I'll leave with this. I've broken air conditioners down, and I've seen some nasty air conditioners, spiders in there. I'm like, man, take the thing out and wash it at least every 6 months or something. So, the filtering has got to be the key to pretty much all of that then. And I'll listen to you over the air then. Thank you very much. Welcome to the new year.
Happy New Year.
That air piece, Legionnaire's disease. But people are sourcing it to the air system in that hotel, because it started at this particular hotel.
Correct.
And in Philadelphia, but they looked at that as one of the possible culprits was the filtration. But look, in the hospital, I mean, though you all pointed out to me that, and you seeing it, I noticed that even when I went out to Aurora and when I was at Freighter, that hospital people were wearing masks.
Mhm.
And because, as you said, infections are
Right.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And in the hospital, you do have a couple. You have two different types of, positive pressure and negative pressure air, depending on the type of room, type of patient. But yes, it does go through like a filtration. But yeah, there's always people coming in, air coming in from the outside, and then of course infections that are transmitted through droplets or respiratory. And so, but that first case of Legionnaires, when they first discovered it, it was a hot mess. Got into that ventilation system. A lot of people died. It's a lot of political. It was at a
Yeah,
it was
it
yeah
got bad,
it
and they
was all
ended up, and the crazy thing was
senators and
Philadelphia only really had one or two downtown hotels,
Mhm.
and that was, I think it was the Stratford. That was and the only reason I knew about Legionnaires, but also I recruited in Philadelphia, so obviously I would stay in hotels. But they ended up having to close that down to be able to go in.
Yeah, there was a recent case of Legionnaires. I don't remember
Yeah.
where that was. That was just in the last couple months.
I do want to say that ventilators are safe, and respiratory therapists are super intelligent.
Oh, they're awesome.
And respiratory docs are very, very intelligent. And usually, different specialties have different personalities.
Mhm.
And respiratory docs are usually very laid back and kind
Mhm.
and understandable.
I know when the chief cardiologist, they were doing rounds at the residence, they were coming around, and that's when I'd had the stroke, and so he comes in and he looks at me, Indian gentleman. He said, "You smoke?" I go, "Yeah." And he goes, "Do you want to live?"
Yeah, I was gonna say cardiology play.
Like, okay, great bedside
they're
manner.
right-
Just kind of set me up
Right
for
to the
this.
point.
Right to the point. You're gonna die. Caller, welcome to the program.
Yes. You got a minute, Keith?
No.
Okay. The reason I'm calling is that my name is Charles, last name Grady, Vietnam veteran, had all kinds of health problems as far as joints and stuff.
Mhm.
But have you all heard about garlic clove as far as high blood pressure? Garlic clove.
Yeah, a lot of people do garlic
Yes.
for blood pressure, but the medicine is better.
I'm going to throw it out at you. A couple of years ago, my cousin moved into my complex, and he threw it out at us to use the garlic clove because his pressure had been down for years, and mine was like about 150 or 60 something at the time. And I started on it in about 2.5 months. My blood pressure went down, and it's been down ever since. And you don't have to do it every day after you start getting it down. You can do it like every few days.
You're doing a garlic supplement?
No, it's a garlic clove. You buy the clove from the store,
Okay.
the grocery store, and you chop it up real fine.
Okay.
And a lot of people can't take it with water. They have to use juice or milk when they first start till they get used to it. But all my doctors and nurses say the same thing. We need to try that because mine been down for over 2 years now, like about 120.
Okay.
I'm just throwing it out at you.
I just thought it was for vampires.
Believe me, it works.
No, actually, I cook a lot because a lot of the recipes call for garlic.
But in the medication, hypertensive medication is very effective also. And how much garlic do you have to take? And does this person take the same amount of garlic as the other person? When we know scientifically that it has been proven that antihypertensives are effective. And I would I know a lot of people that would do garlic and what was that for diabetes there?
Cinnamon,
green
apples.
and all this when we know we have medication and really antihypertensive medication is not expensive. It is reasonably priced and it can lower your blood pressure and not only does it lower your blood pressure, but a lot of times it can this would make people take it. It'll make you lose weight because it will take all the extra water off of you and you won't have all that water weight on you. and it'll lower your blood pressure while it's getting rid of all that extra fluid.
Yes. Could I say this?
Yeah.
Continue to take your blood pressure medication along with the garlic clove.
Mhm.
I agree with you.
Yes.
If that's what you want to do,
Yeah.
Yes.
that is fine. Do both.
And it
That
works.
is nice. Thank you. That's
All
nice.
right. You're welcome.
Hmm.
What about
Bye-bye.
and maybe we can do this. We have a couple callers, but then Brink, I want to talk about AFib because people were talking about irregular heartbeats. I thought about Jamar Hamlin, who when if not the freakiest injury ever of all time in sports, this was where my understanding was when the hit happened, it was between heartbeats and it just threw off everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That electrical part of his heart
Mm-hmm.
that
You're
we talked
listening.
about.
You're listening to Community Voice from Inside Be Healthy, Be You. They're back. Take a quick break. We'll be right back. Some questions in the chat. So Brenda, I know you're closest.
Closest. Oops, where's the one?
Yep.
Oh, you hit it. Oh, we're okay. Can you ask my? Okay, you got to scroll down or something. Nurses strike and sertraline meds. I don't know a whole lot about the nurses strike. We were just talking about it, other than it's still going on. Do either you guys have anything?
I just know in New York City. It's in New York. Yep.
And I'm gonna tell you, when we were coming up, we would never have struck. We didn't even have unions. We were told that it was, that it was a call and not a job, and we did whatever we were told to do.
Right, we're making $9 an hour.
we did
right.
We did whatever they told us to do. We did it, and so when I see the young people nowadays, and I'm like, it's a different era.
Yeah, because we would have, again in our era, felt incredibly guilty for the patients.
Yeah, no way we had walked off the job.
Yeah, and then the other one was sertraline, which is a SUI, which is a drug that's often used to treat like anxiety, depression, and I don't know what else to say about it, but that's what it's usually used for. It affects the serotonin levels in the brain, and that's how it works.
I wanted to. Can you tell us a little bit of what is afibrillation and what that is?
Atrial fibrillation, the top of your heart is called the atrium, the bottom is the ventricular. So when you have atrial fibrillation, it's when your heart is not regular, it's irregular, and because of that, you're not getting all the adequate blood out of your ejection fraction is not where it should be, but also it gives the blood time enough to pool and could throw clots. So because of it being atrial fibrillation, there are ways that they can, sometimes we call it electrophysiology. They can do certain things to shock the heart and get it back into a normal rhythm or slow it down. When atrial fib is dangerous is when the rate is super, super fast. They slow it down. They're okay with that. But when your bottom part of your heart is fibrillating, that's a death sentence and dangerous. And that's called ventricular fibrillation. And that's what we shock. That's why we shock it, to try and get it out of that dangerous rhythm. But AFib is treatable. And the biggest thing is they want to do is they'll slow it down and they'll put you on blood thinners.
And they can do that with medications.
So I've used this term and maybe I shouldn't. Is it curable or is it treatable?
It's treatable.
Treatable.
So once you have been diagnosed, you pretty much.
Some people go back into a normal sinus rhythm after the EFIS study is done, but some people don't. But they're still at risk of going back. So it's always something that they have to watch. Nowadays, sometimes either after they've verted you or put you on meds, they might have you wear a monitor at home, and then they can see all that information to see if you're going in and out of, because some people go in and out of AFib.
That monitor, and I don't even know if I sent the results back. I didn't die. Okay.
But for some people, it helps them to know if they're going in and out and not staying stable, because you may not necessarily feel it until it gets really fast.
Did you feel it? Did you feel
it? I think they was just monitoring everything after the stroke.
Some people feel the fibrillation and it doesn't feel good.
What about people? What does a pacemaker do?
Pacemaker. A pacemaker will make sure that your heart beats at a specific rate, and they can set it. And it's usually 60.
Yeah, it's usually in the 60s. Also, nowadays people have defibrillators in too, not just pacers. So that pacer may set the rate, but they have an internal defibrillator. If their heart goes out of serious rhythm, or it shocks them. And that does not feel good when it happens, but it's necessary. Otherwise, a lot of people would just have sudden cardiac death.
Tyrone Dumas had put in the chat, he was talking about how ventilators had saved a lot of lives during COVID.
Ventilators are awesome.
Mhm.
And I worked a lot with ventilators. And like I said, the respiratory therapists are there. They tell, they set the machine on how your tidal volume is going to be and how your rate is going to be, and they set it all according to you, specifically according to your body and your disease. But they wean you off of it, and some people have to be on vents for a long term. Some people don't. They can wean you off of it, but ventilator is life saving.
Mm-hmm. And during COVID, we would not have survived without the respiratory therapists. They were the ones that were managing those patients at the bedside. The nurses helped, but those respiratory therapists are the ones that really manage those ventilator patients.
So, people, would you also have something? Is it possible that I'm on a ventilator, but I'm also dealing with something to help my heartbeat?
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, you might need a lot of supportive care. So the heart, and in during COVID, sometimes they had to bypass the lungs altogether with what they called ECMO, because the lungs were so inflamed and damaged. So in respiratory therapists, again, that was their baby.
In intensive care, you could have where you have just one nurse taking care of you, because you got so many machines going on. It could be that complicated. And then you got a nurse and a respiratory therapist, and may have a dialysis person there. And you're fighting.
So you're making sure the kidneys are working, make sure the heart is working, make sure the lungs are working, one can breathe.
So you can imagine how intense that is. You have 3 people that are working one-on-one with one patient just to keep them, providing all that supportive care to keep them alive until their body can heal.
Anything else there in the chat? That I know people are they're chiming in. I know some folks are trying to call. No, got something there? Okay.
It's very important to heart disease still is the number one killer. I know people that say, I jog 5 miles a day. But the guy came up to me and he said, I jog 5 miles a day, but I'm starting to feel this pain in my arm. And I'm like, that's why runners usually just drop dead.
Right, because they ignore it. They think, I'm so healthy, this has nothing to do with my heart. It's a muscle. It's something. But just because you're thin and you might eat healthy, you might do everything right, that doesn't mean that you can't have a heart attack.
Who was the guy who really people give credit for really popularizing jogging? He had been a smoker many years, quit smoking, got in incredible shape. He still died from heart disease.
Right. And that's what I'm saying. You need to start with your primary care physician. If you have to have a heart doctor, that's usually a cardiologist, and you need to go to your cardiologist, get your checkups, follow what they tell you to. If your blood pressure causes lots of damage. But there's so many different types of medications out there that they will get your blood pressure down. If you do the lifestyle changes that you need to do, watch your weight, stop smoking, and take your medication.
Yeah, and I had a pulmonologist tell me that if you're on 3 classes of drugs, they probably need to evaluate you for sleep apnea, because the majority of the people that have to be that heavily regulated probably have some sleep apnea that needs to be treated, because sleep apnea, can kill you, raise your blood pressure.
What is sleep apnea?
It's basically when a lot of people, some people that snore have sleep apnea. It's when you're really just not oxygenating. You may stop breathing during the night. And people think loud snoring is definitely something that needs to be evaluated. I remember Reggie White died from sleep apnea. It does incredible damage to your heart. People who are overweight, have heavy necks that snore. Sometimes that sleep apnea can be significantly improved by losing weight.
A lot of us
Um,
snore though, right?
a lot of, but it still is not normal. Snoring is not normal. And you can snore because of issues in your throat. You can snore because it's nasally. There's something narrowed nasal passages. There's a variety of reasons. But if you're snoring and you occasionally stop breathing, I mean, that's serious. And people who use those, sleep machines, apnea machines, a lot of people say, oh, I could never sleep with that on. Well, when people sleep with those, they're like, oh my God, I slept like a baby the minute I put it on. And it needs to be adjusted. Sometimes they need to be adjusted. You might need a different type of mask. There's a variety of things, but just don't give up on it, because you're talking about not just sleeping. You're talking about you're talking about life. And like I said, the machines have come. They're very different than they were 10 years ago, 20 years ago. They're small. Some don't cover the whole face. There's a lot of different things, but certainly, if you are having issues like that, you're snoring heavily, you should let your doctor know.
Yeah, I actually had to have surgery on my deviated
Yeah,
septum.
deviated
I had my
septum.
adenoids removed and my tonsils because like I used to snore real bad, but I had the weight on me as well. So I went in for the sleep study, and the doctors told me in an 8-hour period of time I stopped breathing 450 times.
Mm.
And this was every night. So I had
Yeah.
no clue. And I'm thinking that I'm getting the proper rest, but I wasn't.
You
So I
weren't.
would fall asleep during the day, or I'd be talking to you and
Yeah.
fall asleep. And, I actually almost got fired from church.
Mhm.
I was on the organ playing at church, and I would fall asleep,
Yeah.
whatever. But they thought it was from me just being out hanging
Yeah,
out.
that's what
Right.
Gary said with Saturday
But
night.
that's a big thing, because
The day after the night before.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
they thought I was out hanging out, but it wasn't. So I'm on the organ fighting it.
yeah.
I would feel it coming, but I couldn't control it. So I would pass out, but I can still hear. I
Yeah.
can still hear what's going
Yeah.
on. So I was able to kind of catch it, but I'm falling asleep. And I had the CPAP machine. They gave me the machine, and I went home and tried it. And it's like getting on the freeway going 90 miles an hour, roll your window down and open your mouth and stick your head out.
Oh, the new ones are so quiet. You
So
don't
that's the
even
one I
hear
got.
them. Okay.
But it was just the pressure.
Oh, the pressure.
Yeah, so
Well,
it was the pressure. So how they had first they had mine set at 10, and then they lowered it to
Yeah.
7. But it was still the pressure of it. It was still too much. So I pulled it off, and I
Mhm.
decided, I was like, I'm going to the gym. I'm gonna lose the weight. So by me losing the weight, I don't have that issue
Yeah.
like I had.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that
it was
does-
terrible. I was in heart attack, stroke range.
Yeah. Being overweight is really a risk factor.
Yeah.
And then I'm glad you said that, you felt like you were sleeping through the night.
Yeah.
Because people say, oh, I had a good night's sleep, but you stop
don't
breathing
realize
so many times, in the next day you're exhausted. You're like, why am I always exhausted
Yeah.
when I sleep so well at night?
Yeah.
Because you're not sleeping.
And it was crazy because when they did the study and put the machine on me, I remember how I felt that next morning.
Mhm.
And when I woke up, I actually woke up at like 6 o'clock that morning, but I was energetic.
Yeah.
I had energy. I was like, man, I feel like I'm 14, 15 years old again.
Mhm.
But didn't realize that I was missing that all of those years
Yes.
until it hit. So I was like, that's
how you're supposed to
that's
feel.
how I'm supposed to feel.
Mhm.
But it was like, people just thought I was just out kicking it. So I'm falling asleep on the job and things like that. But it was something I couldn't control.
And that happens a lot. People falling asleep,
Yeah.
thinking they're, and people don't realize often how sick they are until, like you said, all of a
Yeah.
sudden, wow, I feel great. I didn't know I could
Yeah.
feel like this. That's how you're supposed to feel. But because you just normalized
Yeah.
how you felt before, because you thought, well, that's just it. That's
Yeah.
how I'm supposed to feel.
Yeah.
But it's not.
Yeah.
Well,
That's true.
again, February is Heart Health Month.
Black
With
History Month.
Black History Month. Yep.
No, you talk in your family about the different diseases that are in your family, or what aunt,
Mhm.
uncle, mama, grandpa died from, or with, so that you can be aware.
Mm-hmm.
And those of us who are eligible, part of one of the things, and I know I have a lot of Medicare listeners out here, take advantage of your health screening, your checkups, go in and see what's going on. And I know the fear, like they're going to find something. But the sooner they find it, if they find anything, the better off in terms of treatment.
Yeah.
Yep. All right. Well, Be Healthy, Be You. Welcome back.
It's very good to be back.
Miss Julie Means, Miss Brenda Buchanan. Let me thank Clark Kent, Debo, Jermaine, all the callers.
Yeah.
And even some of the people who text and hate. Thank you.
Yes. Lots of people. That's awesome.
Yeah. Somebody was talking about, I don't eat that much bacon. I don't eat that much bacon.
Somebody must have saw you eating some.
No, we was talking about get off the pork. And I was going, I don't eat that much bacon. But I'm gonna tell you something that's just hard to quit. Honey baked ham, Lord Jesus, Lord black.
It
Jesus.
is delicious. Their turkey is delicious too. Have you ever tried that? That's delicious too.
So is that processed?
No.
It's cooked different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we won't get into that. That we do that next month. All right. Yeah, thank you all. Good seeing you.
Yes.
Welcome back.
Be back.
Yeah, thank you.
I love my black people.
Yeah, we love you too.
I love all people.
Just your black people? What about everybody else's black people? You don't love everybody else, just your black people.
Debo's like, let me get out of here.
If you're one of Julia's black people, please
Raise your hand, please.
raise your hand. Let me thank everybody. Hey, y'all, the good Lord willing, creek don't rise. Hope to talk to everybody tomorrow, and as always, go from this place in peace.